Good day everyone. This afternoon, I, Rosella Ramos Relos, together with my partner Miss Glessy Bernales, will discuss about information processing. So let's begin with the question, what is information processing? So information processing is a cognitive theoretical framework that focuses on how knowledge entered and is stored in and is retrieved from our memory. It is one of the most significant cognitive theories in the last century, and it has strong implications on the teaching learning process. So we come now to the information processing theory. So relating on how the mind and the computer work is a powerful analogy. In fact, those who program and design computers aim to make computers solve problems through processes similar to that of the human mind. Cognitive psychologists believe that cognitive processes influence the nature of what is learned. They considered learning as a largely an internal process and not an external behavior changes, as behaviorist theories taught. They look into how we receive, perceive, store, and retrieve information. They believe that how a person thinks about and interprets what he or she receives shape what he or she will learn. All these notions comprise what is called the information processing theory. So in here, cognitive psychologists stated that a person's learning is dependent on how he or she interprets what he or she receives, or how is she or he going to interpret the idea that she received. IPT, or Information Processing Theory, describes how the learner receives information from the environment through the senses, and what takes place in between determines whether the information will continue to pass through the sensory register. Then, the short-term memory and the long-term memory. Certain factors would also determine whether the information will be retrieved or remembered when the learner needs it. So in here, information processing theory tend to describe how learners perceives information from the environment, and also if how is that information will remain or it will just pass through after he or she receives or perceives that information. We come now to the types of knowledge. The first one is general versus specific. This involves whether the knowledge is useful in many tasks or only in one. So this knowledge is very important. Let's say, for example, this is very useful when we're reviewing for a test in which we are going to avoid further informations and focuses on the main idea in order for us to remember that main point of that topic, and for us to easily identify what are the important details in the topic. The next type of knowledge is declarative. This refers to factual knowledge. They relate to the nature of how things are. They may be in the form of a word or an image. Examples of this type of knowledge are your name, your address, a nursery rhyme, the definition of IPT, or even the face of your crush. So the next one is procedural. This includes knowledge on how to do things. Let's say, for example, making a lesson plan, baking a cake, or even getting the least common denominator. So procedural type of knowledge is very useful to the kinesthetic learners, in which they prefer learning through doing things. The next one is episodic. This includes memories of life events, like your high school graduation. For example, in this type of knowledge is when you have your discussion in this day and the next day you have your quiz, in which you tend to remember the discussion yesterday, and that knowledge you gathered yesterday is what we call the episodic knowledge. The next one is conditional. This is about knowing when and why to apply declarative and procedural strategies. So we come now to the stages of the information processing theory. So the stages of IPT or information processing theory involves the functioning of the senses, sensory register, short-term memory, and the long-term memory. So basically, IPT asserts three primary stages in the progression of external information becoming incorporated into the internal cognitive structure of choice. So these are the three primary stages in IPT. The first one is encoding, in which information is sensed, perceived, and attended to. So let's say, for example, you're going to memorize a poem. So here in encoding, of course, before you memorize the poem, you're going first to read the poem itself and then try to interpret it to yourself. The second one is the storage, wherein the information is stored for either a brief or extended period of time depending upon the process following encoding. So here in storage, going back to our previous example, which is memorization of a poem, in which after you read the poem, of course you're going to interpret it to yourself, in which this is where the storage will follow the encoding, in which you're going to store the information or the interpretation you've gathered after encoding, in which is after you read. So the next one is retrieval. So here in retrieval, the information is brought back at the appropriate time and reactivated for use on a current task, the true measure of effective memory. So of course, after you read, after you store the information coming from the poem that you read, you're going now to try to memorize the poem, in which you're going to recite the poem and then try to analyze if you can already or you have already memorized the poem that you are trying to recite. So what made IPT plausible is the notion that cognitive processes could be described in a storage-like model. The stages of processing follow a trial along which information is taken into the memory system and brought back or recalled when needed. Most theories of information processing revolve around the three main stages in the memory process. So we come now to the sensory register. So sensory register is the first step in the IP model, holds all sensory information for a very brief time. So the first one is capacity, in which our minds receives a great amount of information, but it is more than what our minds can hold or perceive. So here in capacity, it talks about how our minds or how much amount of information can we perceive or receive and hold in our mind, in which we all know that we really can't absorb every information in just a day, in which this is when we feel like mentally drained and mentally exhausted. So this is what the capacity is talking about. The next one is duration. This is the sensory register only holds the information for an extremely brief period in order of 1 to 3 seconds. There is a difference in duration based on modality. Auditory memory is more persistent than visual. So here in duration, it is stated that the sensory register only holds the information for an extremely short period of time, in which only 1 to 3 seconds for you to perceive the information. So that's why the auditory memory is said to be more persistent or more effective way in order to perceive knowledge here in duration.